Like most, I was a latecomer to Witcher 3. I'd played the first years ago, near enough when it came out, finished it and thought it was a slog. When Witcher 2 released, something about the combat put me off. So I put that one down and never bothered with the Witcher series ever again. That was until I watched the TV series, loved it and was suddenly enthused to go back to Witcher 2. And I'm glad I did, as I really enjoyed it the second time round. So much so I bought Witcher 3 Game of the Year edition on sale the next day. And I played that game to death, 100%ing it as much as I could, even though I didn't think the story was as good as the first two and I felt it was really overlong. But one part of the game that kept me going more than the main plot, and that was Gwent, a game within a game. Gwent is a card game that takes inspiration from Scoia'tael, or however you say it, a game I've never played or looked into myself, but if it's as good as this one, it should be a cracker. You see, Gwent is a card game with heroes, spies, monsters, decoys and weather effects. You build a deck of at least 22 cards for a faction that has their own special rules, cards and abilities, and then you play 3 rounds using the cards you drew at the start of the game, placing them in one of 3 rows, gaining points for the numbers on the cards and winning by having the maximum amount of points each round. It's very tactical and some would argue unbalanced, as it favours some cards over others, but I would argue that that's where the fun lies, in knowing you and your opponent have overpowered decks that could lose by a bad draw or just general unluckiness. And yes, the Gwent card game that exists on PC addressed most of the concerns, but I feel the reason that game never became successful is because it changed too much from the Witcher 3 version. And so that's why when I saw these cards available on eBay, I couldn't help but purchase them, as these are the exact cards from Witcher 3 in all their unbalanced glory. You could do tournaments with these, I have no doubt. Yes, it would mostly be about Nilfgaard, who have spies and medics to assist them with gaining more cards, but it would no doubt be a laugh, especially as I've been playing my 5 best decks against each other during the quarantine and getting some interesting results, like Skellige giving me unbeaten Northern Realms deck a right smack. Yes, it got lucky with Camby popping up in rounds 1 and 2, and then some bears popping up with their ability in the third, but it was liberating to have my deck be humbled, as beating AI is fun, but seeing how your deck performs against fellow humans would be really interesting, especially since there are so many cards per faction. It's around about 96, and there are so many ways to actually build decks. I'm thinking of limiting heroes for some games, especially the neutral ones, who can be used by every faction and do seem to be the most powerful, Avaloch and Vili being the most obvious must takes in every game, but Ciri, Geralt and Yen can just be as brutal, bring in 15 points to the board each, or a 7-point medic respectively. In terms of these cards themselves, they are a great quality material. They have a poker feel that you'd get from a casino. All images and text are clear and pristine. It's just a shame they didn't come with a case for the cost, simply because these weren't cheap. This entire collection cost me 100 quid. That works out to about 4 pence a card, but you can only get these in one lump sum, so it's not cheap. But it is also a complete set with rules, and you don't need to buy anything else. You do need to know the rules well though, especially the type bond ability and what they do, because keeping track of the score yourself can be a chore if your maths isn't the best. But anyway, I would like to bring some games or even deck builds to this channel, depending on how well this video does, so I hope it's something you'll want to watch. Until then everyone, stay safe and I'll see you soon.